Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty interesting show for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, as you guys know, we've been covering a lot of the ESPN stories that have been breaking over the last few days now. Because ESPN has been making a lot of news, as it seems like they always do at least once or two times a year, right? It's a perennial thing with these guys. First it was about the layoffs, and then we started finding out about the fact that they had to service his debt and the issues that Disney was having because Disney was getting a lot of customers going there. So many things, a litany of things, right? But now it turns out that ESPN still seems to be in some type of transition mode. What am I talking about? As you guys know, ESPN was bleeding customers. In 2011, they had over 100 million people subscribed to ESPN. Now that number is down to 70 million, and that number looks like it's still going to continue to drop. We also heard some news that ESPN is not going to be partnering, with one of these sports betting companies. It looks like sports betting is really taking over professional sports as a whole, and it looks like they're going to try to carve out a piece of that pie that FanDuel and DraftKings seem to have a stranglehold on. So that's another big piece of news. But anyway, this morning I was doing some research and I came across an article from Front Office Sports Now, where I get a lot of my business sports news, because they have a lot of great articles that I enjoy reading. And this article was actually speaking about ESPN Plus losing subscribers after steady growth, but instead it says that Disney is still optimistic about its forecast and its outlook of the company moving forward. So that's really what we want to cover today. But before we get into that, this video is brought to you by sponsor Aura, who's also the official sponsor of the T-Wolves. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards, only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's the sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/dreamerspro. And when you try Aura by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So let me get into this article here. It continues on by saying, Disney took its first step backward in terms of ESPN Plus subscribers in its most recent quarter. A concerning sign as the sports media giant deals with an accelerating decline in linear subscribers. But the company remains optimistic, partly due to its direct-to-consumer operations narrowing its overall losses. During Wednesday's quarterly earnings call, Disney said that ESPN Plus had 25.2 million subscribers, down slightly from 25.3 million in the prior quarter. Though statistically negligible, the decline represents the first retreat from a steady growth pattern for ESPN Plus since its debut more than 5 years ago. Average monthly revenue per user from ESPN Plus also fell from $5.64 in the prior quarter to $5.45. It's more sobering news for the sports media giant, which grapples with the impact of recent layoffs. ESPN's linear reach is down to 72.5 million homes, according to Nielsen, down 28% from overall peak of 100.1 million in 2011. But Disney remains bullish on its direct-to-consumer business, in part due to a reduction of more than half of losses sustained year over year for a current total of 500, Jesus Lord, 512 million. Disney is also implementing price increases across most of its streaming services to drive additional revenue. Overall revenue from the quarter grew 4% to 22.3 billion, while operating income remained flat at about 3.6 billion. Disney, however, did record 2.65 billion impairment charges, heavily related to content impairments on its streaming services. While there's still more to do, I'm incredibly confident in Disney's long-term trajectory, said Bob Iger. Iger reiterated that the company remains firmly intent on offering a full direct-to-consumer version of ESPN. Taking our flagship ESPN channels direct-to-consumer is not a matter of if, but when, Iger said. The team is hard at work looking at all the components to this decision, including pricing and timing. Wow. This is fascinating. It shows you that the sports media landscape is changing rather quickly, to be quite honest with you. You rarely see an industry go through this level of change this quickly. But that seems to be the case in the sports media industry. I mean, for the fact that these guys lost 30 million, think about this for just think about that for a second. They lost 30 million subscribers in about 10 years, which means that they were losing about 3 million subscribers over the last 10 years. 3 million per year. If you do what? 3 million. Let me just see something here. Divided by 4. So they were losing about 750,000 subscribers per quarter. Which is incredible to me. So, people were really kind of out on ESPN, and the numbers showed that people weren't interested in them. As I said before, I still think this thing is in flux. The news that I mentioned prior, at the beginning, aforementioned in this video, where I said that now ESPN is looking to get into the sports betting business. I actually came across a bit of information this morning pertaining to Barstool Sports, which is incredible. Barstool Sports, which apparently was sold for $550 million, is now being dropped. And now I think the owner or the person that sold the company is basically getting the company back for free. And they're no longer dealing with them, as Disney's now becoming a part of this business. To me, there's so many things happening. There's so many new contracts being handed out. As I mentioned to you guys, Michelle Beadle just signed a contract with Amazon, sports there. What is it? Dan Lebertard Media Law Network. He's there with them as well. So there's so many things happening. And I think we're going to see a lot more change taking place in the future. I don't really know where this industry is going. I don't even know really, to be quite honest with you, what a sports media company is worth these days, because the things are changing so fast and it's really hard to gauge. And I think as time goes on and things settle down, we're going to really understand where this thing is going. But to me, as it is right now, I think this thing is still moving. I think you're going to see a lot of people leaning more into podcasts, trying to do their own things independently. And I think it's going to be interesting moving forward. So what I want to know from you guys is, what do you think about this report? What do you think about ESPN losing a little bit? ESPN Plus losing a little bit of his subscriber base, whatever you guys think. Please leave your thoughts in the comment section, and we catch you guys on the next show. Peace.